Hello, everyone. Steven Shinder here again. And I feel like there's some stuff that I really want to talk about with the episode of Doctor Who Dot and Bubble. Yesterday I put out my review, and looking back, I feel I put it out too hastily. Um, I have so many things that I do within the day, and, committing 10 minutes to that. And then after the fact, I realized there were some things that I didn't touch on that I should have. And this is why, like, moving forward, like, when watching each episode, I should jot down a few notes on my phone so that I make sure while I'm recording these that I'm touching on all the things that I want to. But in particular, I wanted to bring up what happens at the end. I talked about the ending last time, but I feel like I didn't really illustrate, the full weight of all of that. So at the end of this episode, when the people of Fine Time are refusing to travel with the doctor, it's clear that they are very prejudiced. And it feels like the episode is saying that these people are racist. There's the line about voodoo, and when you look back at the episode with the hindsight of the ending, it paints certain moments a bit differently. Lindy blocked the doctor right away, but was a bit more open to listening to Ruby. And later, there's that line where she says, "I thought I blocked you. I knew it. I thought you looked the same." And so, there's that big yikes moment. And so she's also more trusting of Ricky, who acts very much like the Doctor, but doesn't look like the 15th Doctor. But of course, she ends up throwing him under the bus anyway. And knowing how the people of Fine Time are like, I do kind of wonder if we truly know Ricky's full personality, or I don't know. But I guess we'll never know for sure now. But yeah, like, I feel that this episode, Shooty Gatwa's acting at the end, like, it's a really big thing for the doctor to set aside things and be like, I don't care what you think, I can do what anything you want, like, still offering to help them despite how, bigoted they are being. And Ruby is in the background, like, feeling gutted about what the doctor is going through here. But yeah, these people, they don't want to travel with him. There's that line about contamination, or don't get close to him, you'll get contaminated. And remember, Lindy did hug Ricky earlier, and apparently that was her first hug ever. So, but they're not willing. She said she's fine with screen to screen contact with this doctor, but in person is different. So yeah, I feel like we're at a place where the doctor, maybe we're finding out that he's not completely um fine. Like, the church at the Ruby Road, or sorry, before that, the Giggle, when after the bi generation, he seems like he's enlightened and he's gotten past all his problems, with dealing with the destruction of Gallifrey and the destruction caused by the flux. It feels like he's put his problems aside, but it always felt a little strange that he was so quick to leave in the TARDIS at the end before properly saying goodbye, at the end of the Giggle. So I do kind of wonder if maybe we're slowly seeing these bits of the Doctor's problems trickling out. Like, I read that ending as excitement to go on adventure, but maybe he's really still full of pain deep down and wants some escapism. And maybe there are some subtle undertones to the times when he's smiling and talking about being the last of the Time Lords, and he's not really fine in those moments. And so here in this episode, he faces racism. And when the doctor, the 13th doctor, I believe in the Witchfinders, I think it was that the episode where they end up centuries earlier, and she deals with sexism. So there's that, and now this doctor is dealing with racism, and it might be the first time that the doctor remembers dealing with this sort of thing. You got to wonder, like, has the doctor experienced this before? Because pre first doctor, there's the fugitive doctor and the other incarnations that could be non-white, and it's like, maybe there are some memories there that the doctor doesn't remember. But as far as the doctor remembers now, this is an instance, and it's it hits the doctor really hard. And I think this took a bit to sink in, because we are so used to seeing the doctor as a, well, let's face it, like, most of the portrayals have been white men, and it took a while for the doctor to be a woman. And so um it took a bit for that to sink in, that this is what's happening. And this might go over some people's heads, like they might have to rewatch the whole episode. But there are other people who, there might be the reactionaries out there who totally miss the point and refuse to see the point. But yeah, it seems like the doctor is very sure that these people will die for refusing help. And like I said previously, it would be interesting to see a future story where we see the aftermath of what happens with these people, and ideally they would learn their lesson and that they were wrong, and maybe there would be redemption there. But this can be really tough for some people to take in, I'm sure. I've heard about some discussion that for some, this might be tough to watch because it's a form of escapism. But on the other hand, it might prove a good point. It kind of makes me think back to the Star Beast. There's a question of, was this handled the best way? Like, it's definitely something worth saying, but how they handled it, I'm not equipped to say whether all the things that they did was the correct way. But yeah, back in the Star Beast, there was the controversy about dead naming, and there were some people of the trans community who, I saw a couple of people here and there that said it's something that is worth talking about, and for others, it might be triggering, and it's like this is their form of escapism, so it's not as fun to watch a show and then that comes up. So there might be stuff like that, reactions like that for people of color in this episode who have faced that type of adversity. Some may appreciate it, some might find it too uncomfortable. um, but yeah, it's a very complicated issue. But yeah, so I do wonder, like, going forward, like, how much more of this type of adversity is the doctor gonna potentially face? It really gets me curious. And again, like, I'm now thinking that the doctor is not perhaps as healed as I'd assumed back in the giggle. And I think we're gonna see, like, some very emotional moments coming up, and I'm sure Shooty Gatwa has the chops to deliver. I mean, especially after this ending, like, I know, like, it's gonna be like, powerful performances ahead and whatnot. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much what I really wanted to touch on in this addendum, reviewing Daunt and Bubble again, making sure that I really gave those aspects their full due, because I was rewatching a bit of the previous video, and um, I I realized that, oh wow, I didn't touch on that, and y- it's I used to script these the first several videos, and then that ate up a lot of my time. So I got really into the flow of being sort of improvisational, talking about stuff like without notes. But I'm trying to get better at this moving forward. Maybe let the episodes or certain episodes sit a bit longer before I can really make sure I have everything that I need to say about the episode. So yeah, in terms of my score, I previously gave it a 7, but the more I think about it, the more I wonder if it should be higher. I'm kind of hovering between 7.5 and 8. And again, there were some tough moments in it, and frustrating that there weren't consequences shown on screen, but they are implied, I suppose. Um, and we're so used to happy endings in the show, maybe some sort of redemption. So I was kind of caught off guard by the fact that this episode would not lead that way. I think that was pretty evident the moment that Ricky September was thrown under the bus, used as a shield by Lindy, and then yeah, just everything that happened after that. So yeah, I think this is definitely an episode that's going to be talked about for a long time, and so will 73 yards for different reasons. Um, and yeah, there's a lot of stuff packed into that one, and some subtleties and subtext, and yeah. So I'm very curious what the upcoming episodes will be like in terms of their tone and what they'll be about. And yeah, so that's it for me for now. And I'll see you all next time on this channel, Steven Shinder Reviews in video form. Bye.